In Lorraine Hansberry's 1959 play, A Raisin in the Sun, we meet the Youngers, a multi-generational working class Black family who are living on the south side of Chicago. Our journey with the Youngers demonstrates the importance and durability of family despite sources of conflict, including sibling rivalry, gender stereotypes, money, religion, tradition, and intergenerational values and experiences. As the play concludes with the family moving to Clybourne Park, a white neighborhood, we are reminded of the significance of hope. Though Carl Lidner, a representative of the Clybourne community, tries his best to dissuade the Youngers from moving to Clybourne Park, he doesn't succeed. Mama, her daughter Benitha, son Walter, and his wife Ruth, and their son Travis leave their cramped apartment for the last time, glowing and empowered with the belief that better times are ahead. Although A Raisin in the Sun was written 62 years ago, too many neighborhoods like Clybourne Park, with their unwelcoming attitudes, may still exist today in many parts of the United States. This version of Clybourne Park tries to prevent a better alternative, one that is informed by what we have all learned from recent current events and books, including The Color of Law, The Warmth of Other Suns, Caste, and the 1619 Project.
Grandma, why'd we move to this house? Nobody wants us here.
I've told you many times, Travis, we have a right to be here. I want the best for you, a really nice house and with a garden. We should live in a neighborhood where we breathe fresh air.
I want those things too, but...
And I want the best schooling for my special boy.
I know, but it's terrible to feel we aren't wanted. Why don't people want Black people like us to live near them?
Who told you such a thing?
I heard Aunt Benithia and Daddy talking before she went to Africa to visit Asaji.
You didn't hear right. That's what happens when you listen to conversations you aren't supposed to hear.
I think I heard the truth, Grandma. None of the kids on the street ever asked me to play with them.
Maybe just shy.
Travis, your grandmother loves you very much. She doesn't want to hurt you. So she won't tell you, but I think you're old enough to know the truth.
What is it?
Since the beginning, white folks think Black people are not as good, not as smart, not as capable of having a good life as they are.
Is this true? We aren't as good? Does God think we aren't as good as white people?
No, Travis, that's nonsense. None of what your daddy said is true. But like your daddy said, there are people who believe this, and we have to show them that they're wrong. If we run away, it's like we aren't proud enough to show them they're wrong.
I heard what you said. You're right. But this is so hard. I don't want my son dealing with the unfriendliness at all times. Mr. Limner told us flat out we aren't wanted here. And it seems he was right. When I walk down the street to get the bus, I feel cold even when it's hot. Sometimes I even feel scared. When I say hello or good morning to the few neighbors, there was no response.
Well, maybe they didn't hear you.
I don't think that's true. I would like to think it was my fault because it really hurts to say hello to someone and all you get is silence. Makes you feel as though you're, invisible. The silence is like a slap in the face. I don't know if it's smart to stay here.
Maybe Beneath is right. Maybe we should all pack our bags and move back to the native land.
Walter, stop this nonsense. You know Benita isn't moving to Nigeria. She just visited Asayev's family.
Well, I'm not moving to Africa or any place else, but something needs to be done.
Yeah, what do you have in mind? Inviting our neighbors for a picnic?
Hello, can I help you?
Hi, I'm Lena Younger, your new neighbor. And I was wondering if I could talk to you. Do you have a few minutes?
Oh, you and your family moved into Clybourne Park a few weeks ago, right?
That's right. It was 3 weeks ago today.
I hope it's been a good 3 weeks.
Well, that's what I want to talk about.
Oh, please come in, have a seat.
Thank you.
You look upset. Can I get you something?
No, thank you. I just want to talk.
Fine. I'm Sarah, and I'm happy to meet you. Sorry I haven't had a chance to ring your door and welcome you to our neighborhood.
Oh, well, I understand.
It's been a very busy season for me.
Well, from the sign on the lawn, I see you're a doctor.
Well, yes, I am.
I don't want to take up your free time, but I have to make a decision. I'm not sure which way to go.
Are you thinking of going somewhere?
I hope not, but it's been very difficult for my family being here. It seems like we aren't wanted here. I was warned before we moved in, but I really didn't take it too seriously. I guess I didn't want to. Now I'm worried.
Has anything happened to you or your family?
No, but still worried.
I'm sorry.
Me too. I knew there wouldn't be welcome signs in all the windows, but I didn't expect the coldness. Ruth, my daughter-in-law, says she feels real unfriendliness whenever she sees anybody on the street. Nobody even talks to me either. When I take my grandson Travis there, what will happen when school starts up again? Travis is in the 4th grade. Will he make any friends? It's no good when you don't have friends.
I understand. Can I ask you a question? How did you know it was okay to ring my bell?
Well, honestly, I took a chance. I see you coming and going. You look like a nice person. And I thought, well, you're a doctor. You will be a caring person. I think to myself, you won't judge me and my family by our skin color.
Mrs. Younger, that was a very wise guess. You're absolutely right. And I can assure you, neither my husband nor I signed that letter meant to encourage you not to move here. In fact, we were angry about it and we told them so.
You told this to that man who came to our home, Mr.
Yes, and other people too.
What did they say?
They didn't say much. They kind of ignored us. And I'm ashamed to say that we didn't take it any further. Perhaps we were too busy with our own lives.
I know how that is, but tell me honestly, do you think it's foolish to stay? It's not healthy to feel so unwelcome.
You're asking a good question. Mrs. Younger, can I get back to you with my answer? I would like to speak with my husband, Jack, about this.
Of course. Thank you. Really grateful for your time.
You don't have to thank me. Thank you for coming here today to talk to me. You came here trusting me, and I will try to deserve your trust. Can I come to see you later this week?
Anytime. I'm retired. Have a lot of time.
Jack, can we talk tonight? Something serious came.
Are you okay? Are the children okay?
It's not about us, our family, but it's important.
Well, you have my attention. What is it? Do you want to talk about this now?
Yes, and I would like the children to join us.
Okay. Aaron, are you free? Sharon, can you come down now?
I'll be down in a minute.
Did something happen today at the hospital?
No, something happened right here.
Really? What?
Isn't it early for dinner?
Yes, it is. But I have something I'd like to talk to the family about.
Are we moving? Are you pregnant?
No and no. Where did you get such an idea?
Oh, just joking.
Very funny.
I hope it's something good, like a plan for a family vacation. Ooh.
No, that's not it. But it's a good idea before the summer ends.
Okay. So, what's up?
It's about our new neighbors, the younger family.
Did something happen to them? Was anybody hurt?
Not physically, but emotionally.
Oh, whew. Sorry to hear that. I hope that things would work out once they had moved in and our friendly neighbors would just settle down and be nice.
Well, I did too, but the youngers feel differently. I had a lovely visitor today, Lena Younger. I believe she's the matriarch of the family.
She came here today? What did she say?
Yes, she was here. And it took a lot of courage. We certainly haven't been very welcoming.
That's true. I'm sorry to say.
She didn't beat around the bush, told me how unwelcome her family feels. Nobody talks to them. And she's worried about her grandson, wonders if he will make any friends at school when the new year starts.
Why did she come to our house?
The doctor signed on our lawn. She thought a doctor was more likely to see people as equals.
Whoa, you must have felt real terrible.
I did. I was ashamed.
Well, we didn't do much when the neighbors were circulating that letter that offered the youngers and incentive not to come here. We just didn't sign it.
I remember that. So glad you didn't sign it.
Can we do anything now?
I have an idea. Remember what Mr. and Mrs. Haynes did the summer we moved in?
Yeah, we went there for dinner. That's when I met Dana.
Sharon, good thinking. I like that.
Do you think the younger family would come here?
Why not?
More I learn about the history of Black people in our country, the more I believe they have a right to be suspicious.
I'd be suspicious too if I thought our neighbors didn't want us here.
I agree with you. That's why we should reach out.
And we can also invite some of our neighbors and hope they'll follow our lead.
Really? Who?
Well, we could start with Tony and Sally Haynes.
Who is Mrs. Younger's grandson?
I think he's going into 4th grade.
Right.
Definitely ask the Haynes family. Their son Robbie is probably around the same age.
Yeah, how about Sally and Tony? Yes, they signed the letter. So not sure they would want to come, but
We should ask them and remind them how they set a good example and invited us. What do we have to lose?
You know what? I was planning on going over there tomorrow. I'm doing their taxes and I need to get a missing statement.
Great. Then you can bring up the subject.
Why don't you come with me? You can make some excuse, you know how you do. And it's best to show a united front.
You're right. I need to make up for not doing more when that letter was circulated.
Mm-hmm. Another delicious winter.
I agree.
Thank you, Jack. I'm so glad you like it.
It's one of the reasons I wanted to accompany Jack. I was hoping for a piece of pie.
Mm-hmm.
You're always welcome here.
Thank you. I'm not as accomplished in the kitchen as you are, Sally, but we'd like you and Tony to come over for dinner Saturday night, if you aren't busy, of course.
Thank you very much, Tony.
I'm free.
Sounds lovely. Special occasion.
Well, actually, it is in a way.
It's not your anniversary, right? Unless you were married twice.
No, but that could have been fun. Actually, we're having a long overdue dinner to welcome our new neighbors, the Youngers.
The Youngers?
Yeah, the new family that moved into our neighborhood.
You mean the Black family that moved in last month?
Sarah, Jack, I'm surprised. Do you think this is wise?
Why not?
Come on. Don't play dumb. You know, we didn't think it made sense for them to move here. Remember, many of us in Clybourne Park signed a letter hoping we could persuade them not to.
I hope you know, we never agreed to that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see there's a problem.
I don't mean to be cruel, but they are just not.
Not what?
Well, they're from a different background. Come on, you know. They don't have the same values, education, goals.
I don't mean to be adversarial, but how do you know this?
Well, they certainly didn't go to college, graduate school, or medical school the way you both did.
Actually, we don't know that, do we? And if it's true, so what? Do our degrees make us better people? Do we have better values? I can't tell you how many people I know who have PhDs and MDs that are horrible people. I wouldn't want them near my children, let alone living in my neighborhood.
True, I agree, but they're still different.
You know, I remember when people in Clybourne Park were saying the same thing about Sarah and me being different because we are Jewish. And I have to tell you, we were very confused and hurt. We will always be grateful that neither of you had that point of view. You welcomed us.
Yes, but again, you're educated and you were striving very hard to be successful in your fields. Can you say the same about the Youngers?
I think the fact that they moved into our neighborhood tells us a great deal about them. They want what we want for our family. I also believe that if they're lacking the education you're talking about, it's not their fault.
Really?
I apologize for getting on my soapbox, but I think we all know Black people have had a horrific history in the United States. They were taken from their own lands and brought to the US to serve white people and their needs. Can you imagine? They were stripped of their identities, torn from family members, and prevented from learning, even how to write.
And we need to remember, when they were emancipated and given their freedom, they were denied guidance and opportunities to learn on an equal basis. And they were denied opportunities to live in decent neighborhoods. Crime, alcohol, drugs, and other problems are a direct result.
Hey, wait a minute. There were people who overcame their limitations.
True. And you know what happened? Anytime Black people who were fortunate to acquire a decent education and make noticeable progress, vicious white people destroyed their accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
What specifically are you referring to?
Any chance your daughter Dana is home right now?
Why do you ask?
I'm just wondering. if she learned anything about the Tulsa Race Massacre in 1921. It's a perfect example. Do you know about that?
Not really. I heard something about this, but I don't know the details. Let me call Dana. She's upstairs studying. Maybe she knows about it. Dana,
What's up, Dad?
could you please come down for a few minutes? Jack and Sarah Fields would like to ask you a question.
Sure, I'll be down in a minute.
How do you know about this massacre?
I just read a book recently about the history of Black people in the United States.
Hi, Mr. and Dr. Fields. So, Dad, what's up?
Hi, Dana. How are you, dear? I hear you're looking at colleges. Hard to believe. I remember when I first met you. You were a little girl. Now you're a beautiful young lady.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am looking. It's fun.
Hi, Dana. Thanks for coming down. We were just wondering if you learned anything about the Tulsa Race Massacre in 1921.
Strange that you should ask. It recently came up in a history class. It was like so strange. All these years of history, and this month was the first time I heard about it.
What did you learn?
Well, there was a mob of white people who attacked the homes and businesses in Greenwood, which is part of a district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. The thing is, it was mainly a Black neighborhood. I forget the number, but I remember a lot of people, actually hundreds of people were killed and thousands of people were left homeless. Their neighborhood was destroyed.
How come we didn't hear about this before?
We asked the same question in class, and we were told the news reports were largely crushed. It's really bad when you think about it. Can you imagine? They said that Greenwood was a really prosperous city with a growing business district. It was called, let me think. It was called the Black Wall Street. I have to be honest, I never knew such a place existed.
Dana, you are not the only one. Unfortunately, this horrible event reflects the usual scenario. Black people suffering because of lies and unscrupulous white people who want to prevent them from getting ahead.
I'm shocked. I can't understand why this was kept a secret. I can hear you and Sarah very sympathetic to the plight of Black people.
Learning about this, well, it really affects my thinking.
I understand that, but should it change our thinking about our neighborhood? It's really not our fault.
You're right. We didn't destroy their neighborhood, but we aren't helping Black people by denying them a chance to live in ours, where they won't encounter a mob.
I agree.
The more I think about what our neighborhood association did, the more upset I become. It could have been done to Jack and me and my family, and it has me incensed.
I understand that.
I had a visitor yesterday, Mrs. Lena Younger. She came to me, swallowed her pride, and asked me if I thought she and her family should leave because of the unfriendliness, coldness, and she and her family felt since they moved in. Can you imagine how I felt? I wanted to hide my face in shame.
And that's how my children and I felt when Sarah told us about Mrs. Younger's visit. I guess we feel that if we don't stand up for others, why should we expect anybody to stand up for us? How can we hold our heads up?
I was ashamed of that letter, ashamed that our children knew what people in our neighborhood were doing. and that we didn't do more at the time to denounce such behavior. As Jews, we remember too well the harm of prejudice and discrimination. We feel the need to do something now, and at the same time, teach our children about the importance of helping others who are victims of prejudice.
I'm ashamed too. Dad, Mom,
Hi,
Hi, I'm your neighbor, Jack Fields.
I'm Walter Younger. Is there a problem?
No, no problem. But I'd like to talk to you. Is that okay?
Sure. You want to come in?
Yes, thank you. Is Mrs. Younger here? I'd like to talk to her too.
No, she's out food shopping. Are you from the Clybourne Park Association?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Okay, then. What do you want to talk about, Mr. Fields?
Please call me Jack. Actually, I'm here to invite you and your family to dinner Saturday night. My wife, Sarah, was planning to come here to invite you, but she had an emergency at the hospital. So I thought I would come over instead.
Dinner? Is this some kind of a joke?
No, not at all.
Then what? I know people aren't happy about us living here. We get the message.
Well, it's a bad message, and my family and I want to change that.
Really?
Yes, really. Look, I'm guessing your mother spoke to my wife, Sarah, and we realized that we haven't been very nice neighbors.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I understand. Trust me. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that you have a very smart mother.
Yeah, I guess you can say that. Sounds like you have a really nice wife.
Oh, I think so. Yes, indeed. And as I said, she would have come over instead of me or with me, but she had an emergency at the hospital.
An emergency? Serious?
Well, yeah, it is. But unfortunately, in her business, it's not unusual.
You a doctor too?
No. One doctor in the house is more than enough. I'm an accountant, okay? My emergency are usually around tax time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How about you? Any emergencies?
I'm just the chauffeur.
Ooh, must be super stressful when you have to get passengers to an important appointment and the traffic is ridiculous. You know, roads are like parking lots.
You got that right. And who gets the blame? Many
You.
times it was me when my boss was late. This isn't my dream job, you know?
Really? Okay, so do you have a dream job?
Actually, I did. I wanted to have my own business. Things just didn't turn out right.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's a big disappointment, but I'm beginning to think there can be other things that I can do that I might like.
I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, now that we have this house, I see other types of work that I could do.
Okay, anything in particular?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty good with my hands, you know. I like fixing things. I'm pretty good with sinks, toilets, you know, plumbing.
That's a great profession. You know, I've never been that good with my hands. I wish I were, because we sure have plumbing problems that I just couldn't fix.
I'm pretty good, but there's so much I don't know.
You know what? If you're really serious, there is a school over in Maytown. I'm sure it offers classes in plumbing.
Well, just an idea, you know, something different, a dream.
I think you're still young enough to make dreams come true.
Yeah, but I can't give up my day job. I need a regular job. You know, money is important.
Of course, money is important, but I'm sure there are night classes that you could take.
Night classes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Night classes. You know, that might work.
Yeah, huh? Why not? Why don't you check that out?
Where did you say the school is?
Maytown. That's not too far from here.
Maytown. Okay, thank you. I think I will check it out.
Sounds good.
Walter. Oh, excuse me. I thought you were on the phone.
Hi, I'm Jack Fields, your neighbor. Perhaps you met my wife, Sarah?
No, I didn't, but my mother-in-law did. She was so happy to talk to her.
Well, it was mutual. As I was telling Walter, your husband, I guess.
Yes, I am Ruth Younger.
Well, nice to meet you, Ruth. Well, I'm here in Sarah's place because something came up at the hospital.
Oh, I am sorry.
Don't worry. See, it's her job, okay? Not fun, but anyway. I'm here because we both hope that you and your family are available to come to our home for dinner Saturday night.
Dinner? You mean this Saturday night?
Sorry. Yeah. Well, maybe it's not convenient this Saturday. Maybe we can make it another time.
Oh, no. I didn't mean it wasn't good. Honestly, I'm just surprised. It's really a nice surprise. Thank you. But maybe we should wait until Lena comes back.
I think it's okay for me to speak for my mother. I think she'll be just fine with this Saturday.
We have a son. I don't want to leave him home alone. Is this a problem? Can we bring Travis? He's 12, but he's very quiet.
Of course, that would be fine. Quiet or not, we have children too. They are older, but rarely are they quiet.
I know he will be happy to meet them.
And my children will be happy to meet him.
Can we bring something?
Oh, thank you. But no. We are happy just to have you and your family. Let's see. Will 6:30 work for you?
Should be fine. Thank you.
Oh, great. We look forward to seeing you Saturday at 6:30.
Thank you for your visit. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, that was a real surprise. I can't believe it. I never thought something like this would happen. Your mama is some kind of miracle worker.
She is something.
Oh, I guess we should bring some flowers or some kind of dessert. Or maybe I can make some cookies, or your mom could make some of her special pies. Oh, I can't wait to tell her about this. Our first dinner in our new neighborhood. Wow. Oh.
Yeah, this is good. And I had a real good talk with Mr. Fields. You know, he told me to call him Jack. He's a really nice guy. Not like that Carl Linder guy. Anyway, we got talking about jobs, and I mentioned something about the idea of me changing my job to something I like. And
oh, really? So, what are you thinking about?
hey, remember how good I was at fixing that problem we had with our sink? Well, I like that kind of thing. I really like working with my hands that way. And, you know, we were talking and the idea of me becoming a plumber came up. I hear plumbers make good money.
Oh, I need to take a breath. Walter, this sounds so good.
Yeah, plumbing. Sure isn't boring like the job I have now.
Yes, but Walter, you just can't stop working. We need the money. How long would it take you to become a plumber?
Mr. Fields, Jack, said I could probably take classes at night. I have to find out.
Well, Walter, you know, I really like this idea. And I think Mama will like it too.
Jack, please get that. I'm in the middle of something.
Sure. Tom, come in. Are you hungry?
Hi, Jack. Sorry to bother you at dinner time, but I just heard something that doesn't make sense.
Well, come in. Please sit down. So, what's going on?
Are you actually having a welcome to the neighborhood dinner for the youngers?
The way you looked when you came in, I thought there was some emergency.
I think it's an emergency. Well, are you?
Tom, yes. Yes, we are. And actually, we were going to ask you and Jenny to join us.
Are you kidding? Why are you doing this? How could you even think we could come? That would make me a huge hypocrite. I'm the one, if you recall, who encouraged Carl Lindner as the representative of the Clybourne Park Improvement Association to convince the youngers to change their minds about moving here. Remember? Do we now really want them to feel welcome when we don't believe they belong here?
Hi, Tom. I heard your voice. Is everything okay?
Hello, Sarah. Honestly, no, everything is not okay. I'm concerned about the dinner you're having this Saturday.
I'm sorry you feel this way.
What are you trying to do to our neighborhood?
Make it better.
Better?
Yes, more welcoming, more inclusive.
Are you serious? Do you realize what you're doing?
Yes, I think so.
You know, I hate to be so frank, but you were lucky that you and Jack, well, I mean...
What? What exactly do you mean?
Well, at one time, come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Jews weren't welcome here, right?
Well, yes.
Well, Tom, this is something I wouldn't be proud of. What gives people the right to say who can live in a neighborhood? As long as they can afford to live there and maintain the property, isn't that enough?
A neighborhood has to have standards if they want to maintain the value of the homes.
Okay, I get that. But what exactly are these standards?
You know what I'm talking about.
Actually, Tom, I'm not sure we do. Who in our development is better than we are, or better than you and Jenny?
Come on. You have to know what I'm talking about.
I'll tell you what I do know. Every immigrant group who came here by choice or by force has contributed to the growth of our country. Every single group. So if you're going by contributions, who should be cut out? Native Americans? If they didn't help their European settlers survive when they came to the New World, we might not be here at all. Slave labor built the Capitol and White House, not to mention the economy of the South.
And the North, much to people's surprise, I recently found out that enslaved people built the wall after which Wall Street is named. Men, women, and children, they were bought and sold 2 streets away from the current site of the New York Stock Exchange.
I didn't know that, but I do remember learning about George Washington Carver.
Hi, Mr. Drake. I hope I'm not interrupting. Dad, I have a question about the car, but it can wait.
Yeah, you know what? We could talk about that later. Whoa. Actually, Aaron, you came at a good time. I know you've been learning some things in history that might help in our discussion.
Aaron, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you remember anything about George Washington Carver?
Well, actually, I do. I was amazed to learn that he was responsible for creating approximately 300 products made from peanuts, like paper, soap, flour, and
That's pretty impressive.
I also read about another important Black person, Dr. Shirley Jackson. She was a theoretical physicist.
What did she do?
I had no idea that this will really amaze you. She helped develop the touch-tone telephone, caller ID, and fiber optic cables.
Really? Who knew?
What else did you learn about the contributions of other groups who are not white?
Well, let's see. The Chinese who came here helped build the Transcontinental Railroad. And we all know the railroad made it possible to settle the Western regions in North America and made industrialization possible when it happened. Another group, the Hispanics, they've influenced all aspects of American culture, science, music, sports. I'm sure you've heard about Cesar Chavez and
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. I appreciate this information. I don't really need a history lesson. Well, maybe I do.
Well, maybe we all do, Tom. We can benefit from being reminded of things or learning about things that could influence some of our decisions and perhaps could be used to educate others we know, if they will listen. I certainly would be interested in knowing if anybody in our neighborhood invented anything that is notable, that changed lives in a positive way.
Good question. I guess.
I have another question I've been pondering.
I'm afraid to ask.
No, good. Well, what makes our neighbors whose relatives came from Ireland, England, Germany, Italy, Sweden, any better than those who came from Africa? And while I might be a little bit upset, I'll share a very personal question that I've been asking even before we moved into Clybourne Park. Has there ever been a legitimate reason to ban Jews from this or any other neighborhood?
Jack, I really don't know what to say. I never should have brought this up. I apologize.
Accept it. I think you could use something cold to drink.
Thank you. I do feel a little dry.
Tom, you only said what you think, what we've been taught to think, what good friends and Navy family have said to you over the years. But just because you heard something many times, well, it really doesn't make it right.
No, of course not. It doesn't. You have a right to be upset. I'm terribly embarrassed.
Tom, you and Jenny and your family are good, decent people. We're grateful to have you as friends. We know that a lot of good, decent people feel they have the right to choose their friends, choose their neighbors. And I can't say that people shouldn't have that right. But I see it's a problem when people are deciding who can move into a neighborhood or a community or join a country club. The idea that people think they're better than other people, well, we find this upsetting.
I can see you're upset, with good reason.
I apologize for sounding too preachy, but don't you think the golden rule applies here? Do unto others as you would have others do unto you?
Perhaps we're especially sensitive because of the horrific history our Jewish ancestors have endured. Even in America, Jews were discriminated and clearly limited in types of employment, ownership of properties, admittance to social clubs and resorts, and we were also limited by college enrollment quotas.
It's not right. Who determines which people should be shut out? Who are these special people?
Aaron, you're asking a smart question.
Hey, it just hit me. The only people in Clybourne Park are white. Oh my goodness. Why? Why is that? We can learn so much from people who are different. Who decided that only white people should live here?
I don't know. I really don't know, son. I don't know who these divine people are. And let's face it, these gatekeepers, they're people with privilege. And they deny people they think are less worthy of a better education, better housing, and better jobs. And these gatekeepers limit opportunities for people to achieve, get ahead, create, invent. It's amazing that people like George Carver and Dr. Jackson and other successful Black people could accomplish anything.
Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised when I hear people with no opportunities for a better life get into trouble. I know kids who are really angry. Well, I'm not surprised when they get hooked on alcohol and drugs.
Aaron, you're sounding wiser than a lot of us who are older and should be wiser.
I'm sorry, Tom. I'm really sorry for going into all of this. I guess it was my conversation with Walter Younger that reminded me of what it's like to feel unwanted. He's a good man who hasn't had the opportunities that your parents gave you and mine gave me. It's not that his parents aren't hardworking, good people. It's just that they've been systematically prevented from lifting themselves up, moving beyond their limited circumstances.
And by moving here, people like the Youngers are hoping their children will have access to things they didn't have. Here in Clybourne Park, they hope to finally break through the cycle of poverty.
I sure hope they can. Oh my goodness. They look like a really good family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I surrender. You've given me a lot to chew on.
Tom, we hope you and Jenny will join us for dinner.
I'll talk to Ginny. Are you planning to ask anybody else?
Anybody you suggest?
Well, what about the Lindners? You just don't say I suggested them.
Do you think they would come?
Aaron, why are you laughing?
Mr. Lindner? Anybody who can convince him should win a medal. That man is concrete.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. You got him pegged. But maybe it would help if somebody confronted his prejudice the way you confronted mine today. Maybe it's been too easy for many of us to perpetuate the gentleman's agreement when it comes to the exclusion of people. People we just don't really know or understand.
It would be great to have you and Jenny in our camp.
Amen. Yes.
May I come in?
I hope you spoke to Jack and Sarah Fields and they've come to their senses.
I'm sure you do. I did talk to them, but I didn't come away with the result you were hoping for.
What do you mean?
I've revised my thinking.
What? You are actually in favor of the Youngers being here?
Well, I've been thinking.
So, what? Talk to me.
I think we don't have a right to keep them out of our neighborhood. And
what?
And perhaps we would all be better off if we actually welcomed them. Perhaps if we made them feel at home, all the concerns we had will disappear.
Disappear? Are you living in a dream world?
No, I'm not. I've been forced to do some soul searching and some research.
About what?
I don't know about your humble beginnings, but I know about my grandparents and my parents, their lack of education, lack of resources when they came to America. Quite frankly, if not for people willing to give them a chance, well, I wouldn't be living in Clybourne Park either. I don't think I would have gone to college. The people who let my parents rent, well, I don't think they considered their religion or nationality. I guess they were darn lucky.
Luck? I'm sure it's all because they worked hard, like my family.
Sure, they worked hard, very hard. But Carl, face it, they were given opportunities that Black people have never had.
What are you talking about? Nobody in my family was offered a red carpet. You know, it was tough, very tough for them too. I could tell you stories that...
I'm sure that's true, but I still believe the institutionalized limitations the Blacks have endured have created more insurmountable challenges than our grandparents and parents had. I did some reading, and the things I learned are very, very disturbing. I don't know why we didn't learn these things in school.
Maybe because they weren't so important.
Wrong. Very important. We just didn't know what the real history, the terrible injustice. One thing I didn't know about is redlining. I suggest you look it up.
I don't have time for this.
Well, you should make time. I'm telling you, this is important to know. I actually wrote something down in case you never heard of it. Redlining is the discriminatory practice of denying services, typically financial, to residents of certain areas based on their race or ethnicity.
What exactly does that mean?
It was all done on purpose. The Federal Housing Administration was created to make home ownership for Black families almost impossible. The FHA refused to back mortgages in any neighborhood where Black people lived. Do you understand what that means? How in the heck can anybody buy a decent home without a mortgage? Could you?
Honestly, that's ridiculous.
I agree. It's ridiculous, but it's the truth. And if this wasn't bad enough, African American families were prohibited by the federal government from buying homes in the suburbs in the 1940s, 50s, and even into the 1960s.
You really believe this nonsense?
It's not nonsense. Black families lost out on the equity appreciation that white people benefit from.
How do you figure that?
It says here, white American families have 12 times the wealth that their Black counterparts have. Since the beginning, Black families have been denied the opportunity to build up savings to finance their children's education. If you don't believe me, look it up.
You know, I really don't have time for this.
Really? Don't you think it's important to know the truth when you make decisions that affect other people's lives? Now that I have a better understanding of why the Youngers wanted to move to our neighborhood, I truly regret signing that letter. Do you understand?
Tom, stop. Enough.
Carl, it's important. Don't you see? My family, and probably yours too, as long as they could pay the rent, they were welcomed. And because my family lived in a neighborhood with a good school, my father learned enough to get ahead of where his parents began. It makes sense because Black families have not consistently been denied opportunities that our white families had. Too many have not been able to lift themselves out of a lower economic existence.
Okay, I get it. I hear you. But okay, what about this? What if the Youngers can't afford to keep up the look of their home, their garden, and the neighborhood becomes unkept? You know what will happen to the value of our real estate? My family was the first to live in a neighborhood like this. It was not easy to get here. It would be a crime to see it devalued. You can't deny that.
I don't think that will happen, Carl. From what I've seen, Mrs. Younger cares a great deal about her garden. She's always out there tinkering with the flowers and bushes, and she's doing a really good job. Her garden looks better than when they moved in, and it seems her children have jobs.
Perhaps.
You know what I think?
No, not anymore.
I think it may be more important to the Youngers to keep their home looking good than it may be for us.
That is ridiculous.
No, it isn't. Think about it. It's possible they value their home and their garden more than a lot of people in our neighborhood. Quite honestly, I think a lot of people in our neighborhood take their home for granted. For many, it's probably not such a big deal that they're living here.
Well, don't tell that to my wife and children. Living here is a very big deal for us.
I understand. I shouldn't generalize. But if living here makes such a difference to your family and mine, can you imagine what it is like for the Youngers? I say we give them a chance. Let's welcome them. Let's get to know them. Let's be a part of their success story.
And if one of their friends wants to move in, aren't you concerned about white flight? It's not a myth.
I'm not concerned. If only people who can afford the mortgage move in, we will maintain our neighborhood. Instead of people leaving, they'll want to stay. The world is changing. Clybourne Park needs to change too.
I'm glad you could make it on such short notice. Please come in.
Here, we brought you a peach pie and some chocolate chip cookies.
Thank you very much. You really didn't have to bring anything. We're just happy to have you.
My grandmother makes a great pie, and my mother, she's the one that made my favorite cookies.
And Travis is a good customer for both of them.
You are too.
That's true. Thank you for inviting us.
Please come in, sit down.
You have a beautiful home. It's very, very nice of you to do this, Sarah.
We're glad you're here. Sarah and I are very sorry about Carl Lindner's visit to your home. It was a terrible thing that he did, and we're grateful you are strong enough to move in anyway.
He certainly made his pitch appealing. We could have made some money.
But as Mama said, our dignity, our pride, and our self-esteem are not for sale.
Good.
We certainly understand. Can I get you something to drink? Our other guests should be here very soon.
No, thank you.
Travis, how about you? Are you thirsty?
No, thank you.
Mrs. Younger?
Please call me Lena. I'm fine now. Can I help you with anything?
We're good. And your delicious desserts tonight are sure to be a hit. Thank you so much for bringing them.
It's Lena's special recipe. Whenever we have something to celebrate, Lena is busy baking.
And this is special. I also have something to tell you. Mr. Jack, I'm enrolled in Maytown's nighttime program for plumbers.
Wow, wonderful. That is really good news. Next time we have a problem, I know just who to call.
Excuse me while I answer the door. Tom, Jenny, welcome. So glad you could make it. Welcome. Tony and Sally, thank you for coming. I'm sure all the youngers will be so happy to meet you.
So, Mama, happy? You got what you wanted.
Yes, very nice.
I liked meeting Sharon and Aaron. They were nice to me.
Ruth?
Well, I agree. They were all kind, but at times I felt a little uncomfortable, like I was some kind of exhibit, like everyone was looking at us, waiting for us to do something.
I felt like I do sometimes when I'm driving my boss, Mr. Walden.
Probably the same if we're meeting new neighbors in any new neighborhood, right?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Miss Fields, Sarah, she's really a good person, but there are some differences.
Well, sure, but it doesn't mean we can't get along.
Yeah, Jack is a really good man and I like him. But can we ever be friends?
Anything is possible. First, let's be good neighbors.
Well, we did it.
Yes, you did, man. You did it. Girl, you look tired.
I think it was a really great dinner.
I like Mrs. Younger. She makes a great peach pie.
The cookies were delicious too.
Sarah, your chicken dish was one of your very best.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I think it was good tonight, but it was exhausting. The Youngers are a lovely family. I just couldn't stop wondering how they were feeling, wondering if we made a mistake and put them in a bad position.
Yeah, well, look, I think we did the right thing. Under any circumstances, new neighbors are bound to feel a little bit uncomfortable. We did at first too. When we moved in, it's natural.
I'm sure that's true. I think our guests were being as pleasant as they could be. I heard a lot of weather talk and gardening tips.
Makes sense to me.
It's a shame that the Littners didn't come.
Couldn't or didn't want to.
I guess it doesn't matter. But if they see others in our neighborhood, excepting the Youngers, they are bound to come around.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so.
Well, if I see anybody bullying Travis, you can bet I'm going to say something.
I'm glad you said that, son.
Hey, it's just not right to stop people from moving into a neighborhood because some people don't think they belong. Who has the right to decide this? Our neighbors better start being nice to the Younger family. They are good people.
Oh, I'm so proud of both of you.
Sarah, I think we're raising two really good children.
So, what do you think?
Truth? I'm glad we went nice family.
Conversation was a bit awkward.
Well, I guess what do you expect? Wouldn't it be the same with any new neighbors?
Perhaps it would be easier if we had more in common.
What do you have in common with Carl Lindner?
Actually, not much. I really don't know much about him other than he works for the electric company.
I rest my case. I was able to share a pie recipe with Lena and Ruth. Lena's peach pie beats my apple pie. The crust melts in your mouth. And she actually gave me a good tip too.
Yeah, and I kind of enjoyed sharing a plumbing story with Walter. I can't remember how it came up, but he seemed interested.
And why not? My guess is he really liked talking to you.
Everyone, it's really heartening to see so many of you here today. I know I'm not an elected official. Sarah and I and our children are just ordinary neighbors in our community. And I can't say we've done anything special to enhance our neighborhood other than maintain the integrity of our house, mow our lawn, and make sure our trash is out on time. And our trash cans are taken in on the same day that they were emptied.
That's more than some other people here today. I won't mention names.
If I'm not mistaken, your lawn could use a trim.
Thank you, Ginny. I'll remind my son.
Seriously, I think you're all caring about the upkeep of our neighborhood. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Go ahead.
I asked to speak because my family and I think Clybourne Park made a mistake when the younger family was encouraged not to move into our community. We have had the pleasure of spending time with them, and I'm embarrassed by the unwelcoming spirit we've displayed.
I agree.
I know our community is not alone in the feelings we express, but that doesn't make it right. I should have spoken up earlier, and I apologize for not doing so. But it's clear to me now, what we did was very hurtful. And forgive me for saying this, but I feel we were selfish. Who are we to prevent good, decent, hardworking people from living in a community like ours? My own ancestors were victims of this same kind of prejudice. Look, I won't go into my family's history because this is not about them. This is about us, our community, our society, and our children and grandchildren. It's about our country. I think we can be better. So I'm proposing something a little more ambitious than just taking care of our property. I'm talking about making Clybourne Park a shining example of a multicultural community. Got it? No, all right, look, instead of deterring people of different backgrounds, we would welcome them. We can all benefit from living with people with different backgrounds. There is so much we can learn. Can you imagine events for celebrating different traditions, getting acquainted with a variety of cuisines? Our commercial downtown area could go to place where innovative store owners would want to be.
This all sounds very nice, but I thought we value our privacy, our peace and quiet. Who wants the whole world invading our town?
I don't think we have to sacrifice our privacy and peace and quiet. Those of us living in the residential part of the town can still enjoy our gardens. But if our commercial area is considered choice real estate because of our appealing shops and restaurants, the value of our property can't help but increase. And those of us in walking distance of cozy little restaurants could definitely benefit too. That certainly includes Tom and me and our family.
Mine too. And think about this. Our older children might just want to stay in our neighborhood or return after college if it's an appealing place to live.
I'm also coming to think that this could be a good idea. Based on my experiences with the students I'm teaching, young people are more inclusive and welcoming.
Right. I don't think our children want to stay or come back to Clybourne Park after college if the only virtues we have is peace and quiet and manicured lawns.
Wait a minute. Hold it. I can't believe what I'm hearing. How about a dose of reality in our discussion? I don't like being the villain, but come on. I understand a lot more than I did before, but still, we all know what happens to neighborhoods when all kinds of people move in. The value of the property drops. Not everybody has the same values we do. I'm very concerned about the direction this is going in. Somebody say something. I know I'm right.
Carl, it doesn't have to be that way. The value doesn't have to drop. Tom and I have had to do some tough soul searching, and we're looking at this situation differently.
Yes, but are you really thinking about the future of our neighborhood?
Yes, we are. Exactly. I'm thinking about the big picture. And this means participating in an important movement in our country, something I know many of you are taught in your house of worship, the importance of helping others.
I'm glad to hear this because I've also had to do some thinking. And I think we can be more inclusive as a neighborhood, and we can maintain our property values and maintain our property with fair policies and penalties for ignoring them.
I agree. If we are united and committed to keeping our neighborhood as good as it can be and set an example for any new neighbors, I think we can avoid problems that have been alluded to.
That's right. That's right. I like what you said, Tom, Sally, Jenny. Sarah and I strongly believe that families like the Youngers should have a chance to enjoy a well-maintained neighborhood and quality schools as we do. And all of us, all of us will benefit if we are exposed to people and cultures that are beyond our own limited world.
It could be a win-win situation. Think about it. It's necessary for our children if they're going to survive and thrive in the truly multicultural world they are inheriting. Why not make Clybourne Park a neighborhood that we can all be proud to live in?
The People's Zoom Readers Theater is a diverse, inclusive group of people who are committed to combating prejudice and injustice. Clearly, we believe there is a great value in getting to know and working with people who have differences in age, sexual orientation, gender, nationality, religion, race, and more. Our times together have expanded our understanding and appreciation of those who have different backgrounds and life experiences. We believe society, mainly with the help of younger people who are more accepting of differences, is moving in the right direction. We hope more and more communities throughout the country will choose to create open communities that welcome and even encourage diversity. Now, we welcome you, members of our audience and our performers, to share your experiences and your stories about working, learning, or living with a diverse group of people.